Zeus. King of the sky, brother of Hades, and the one who first shattered the Titan's hold on the world. Zeus is the storm in every sense, loud, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore. In Hades 1, he appears to Zagreus as the most welcoming of uncles, quick to throw his support behind the young prince's rebellion. His booming greetings and generous tone make it seem as if Olympus is waiting with open arms, but behind the warmth sits calculation. Helping Zagreus escape is not only a kindness, but a chance to weaken Hades' authority and strengthen his own role as patriarch of the gods. His boons adds chain lightning and lightning strike effects to attacks or casts, hitting multiple nearby foes. Zeus's presence in Hades 2 carries a sharper edge. With Kronos breaking free and threatening the entire cosmos, Zeus is forced into a position he knows well: war leader. Once, he rallied his siblings against their father, leading the Olympians to victory in the Titanomachy. Now, he positions himself to do the same again, using Melinoe as the spearhead of his strategy. His blessings are gifts, but they're also investments. Every strike of lightning that Melinoe channels is proof that Olympus still holds dominion over heaven, earth, and even the realm of death. Now his boons inflicts Blitz, a delayed electric burst that triggers after an enemy takes a set amount of damage, includes Bolt, Chain Lightning, and rare instant death procs. What drives Zeus is more than family loyalty. He is obsessed with image, with remaining the figure at the center of every myth. Poseidon. Loud, boisterous, and larger than life, Poseidon is the ocean given a voice. In Hades 1, he greets Zagreus with the enthusiasm of a favorite uncle, slapping his approval on the rebellion with promises of power, treasure, and glory. His words drip with bravado, always pushing Zagreus forward as if escape were another great voyage. But Poseidon's help isn't selfless. Every wave he sends crashing through the underworld is a reminder of his domain's reach. The god of the sea has always been hungry for expansion, eager to prove his might and outshine his brothers, Zeus and Hades alike. Supporting Zagreus is both family loyalty and a chance to destabilize the House of Hades from afar. His boons add knockback to attacks and specials, sending enemies flying, and increase room rewards such as treasure or healing, reflecting his wealth-driven, tide-like influence. In Hades 2, Poseidon's role deepens. With Kronos threatening the order of all things, he positions himself not only as an ally, but as a supplier of abundance. His ocean becomes more than a symbol of power. It's the lifeline of Olympus's war effort, the network through which wealth, reinforcements, and resources can flow. Toward Melinoe, his tone is still exuberant, but beneath it runs a sharper pride. He expects her to succeed, not simply because she is fated to, but because his blessings back her journey. His boons now add knockback and froth through splash abilities, enhancing cast power, improving location rewards, and increasing maximum health for better endurance. Poseidon's motivation is simple and primal: dominance. Where Zeus thrives on image and authority, Poseidon wants conquest and recognition. Athena. Calm, composed, and deliberate, Athena is the mind of Olympus given form. In Hades 1, she appears to Zagreus as the rare Olympian who frames his rebellion not in jest or opportunism, but in principle. She tells him plainly that his cause is just, that breaking free from the House of Hades is not an act of betrayal, but of rightful choice. Her blessings carry the same philosophy. They shield, deflect, and protect, emphasizing foresight and discipline. Athena's presence in the underworld feels almost parental, but not indulgent. She offers wisdom, not comfort, as though testing whether Zagreus can live up to the ideals she embodies. Her boons mirror her philosophy, turning defense into offense through deflection and precision. Few gods speak with such quiet confidence. she does not plead, she instructs. By the time of Hades II, Athena's demeanor sharpens further. To Melinoe, she is less the supportive aunt and more the general speaking to a soldier. Her words carry urgency, a recognition that Kronos is not a foe who can be met with half measures. She positions herself as strategist of Olympus, setting the tone of discipline and order against the chaos that threatens to engulf the cosmos. There is little humor, little warmth, only the quiet steel of resolve. Her boons still center on deflect, allowing attacks to turn enemy blows back against them, while new variants enhance defensive actions and even call upon Athena's light directly in battle. Aphrodite. The goddess of love enters the underworld not with thunder or waves, but with a smile that conceals sharp intent. In Hades 1, she approaches Zagreus in a playful, almost teasing manner. Her tone is warm and alluring, treating him less like a warrior and more like a favored companion. But her gifts are never just about beauty. They are about control, weakness, charm, desire. Aphrodite wields these as weapons, ensuring that those who face her influence bend before her. She helps Zagreus not out of maternal care, but because every alliance expands her reach. If he escapes and rises, she becomes the goddess who shaped his path with love itself. Her boons spread weak and charmed, lowering enemies' strength and turning passion itself into a weapon. In Hades 2, her presence softens in tone but not in power. With Melinoe, Aphrodite's tone shifts from flirtation to mentorship. She frames love not as indulgence, but as endurance, a bond that keeps Olympus united against ruin. Her blessings expand to amplify attack power to nearby foes, enhance healing, and increase dodge chance, blending affection with tactical strength. Even in war, her elegance remains unbroken, proving that compassion can wound as deeply as a blade. Ares. If Athena is the voice of order, Ares is the roar of chaos. In Hades 1, he takes Zagreus' rebellion less as a political act and more as a spectacle. To him, the underworld is a perfect stage for carnage, and Zagreus' struggle is an endless war he can cheer from above. His blessings reflect that worldview. Nothing subtle, nothing cautious, just blades of shadow and spreading doom. Every fight is a celebration, every death a hymn to his name. He doesn't offer comfort or wisdom, only a promise. War is inevitable, and those who embrace it are his chosen. His boons inflict doom, delayed surges of pain that reward aggression and relentlessness. His is the hand that sharpens conflict into beauty. In Hades 2, that edge becomes even sharper. With Kronos threatening to unravel existence, Ares doesn't mourn the danger, he revels in it. Where other gods speak of unity and survival, Ares frames the war as destiny fulfilled. He admires Melinoe not for her birthright, but for her will to fight endlessly. His boons evolve to inflict wounds, bleeding curses that magnify raw damage, while empowering moves and triggering blood drops that fuel his eternal thirst for battle. For Ares, there is no peace to preserve, only glory to claim. Artemis. Silent where her twin Apollo is loud, Artemis embodies the solitary edge of Olympus. In Hades 1, she appears as an ally to Zagreus, though her manner is distant. She does not flatter or tease like the others. Instead, she respects skill and precision. Her blessings match her nature: focused strikes, critical hits. The tools of a hunter who values accuracy over flourish. To Zagreus, her support feels less like family obligation and more like professional acknowledgement. If he can hunt his freedom, she will give him the arrows. Her boons grant critical hit chances and marked effects that reward patience and accuracy. In Hades 2, her role leans closer to the family's crisis without losing her independence. She recognizes Melinoe's struggle as a hunt on the grandest scale, a pursuit not of beasts, but of the Titan of Time himself. Her tone toward Melinoe is sharper, more invested, yet still wrapped in that air of detachment. She offers guidance not with warmth, but with the clear-eyed assessment of one who has stalked prey her whole existence. Her boons now inflict marked, guiding Melinoe's strikes toward critical efficiency. To her, Melinoe is another hunter on the path, one who must learn to strike true when the moment comes. Dionysus. Where Zeus thunders and Ares roars, Dionysus laughs. In Hades 1, he greets Zagreus with laid-back charm, always ready with a drink and a joke. His blessings drip with intoxication, turning enemies sluggish and sick with festive fog. Unlike the other gods, he doesn't lecture or push strategy. He simply enjoys the chaos of it all, offering Zagreus a taste of freedom that feels more like revelry than rebellion. Yet behind the cheer is an edge. Dionysus knows indulgence can topple empires as easily as any sword. His boons inflict hangover, a stacking poison that weakens enemies, and summon festive fog, clouds of confusion that turn combat into a drunken dance. In Hades 2, his mask of joy thins. With Kronos looming, his humor carries weight, the smile hinting at the madness underneath. He still plays the friend, offering Melinoe strength through haze and distraction, but there is something more unsettling about it now. The revelry feels less like play and more like a force of nature. Wine as destruction, laughter as defiance. His boons still focus on hangover and fog, but now they come with better survivability, chaos that protects as much as it harms. Demeter. Cold, solemn, and unyielding, Demeter is the frost of Olympus personified. In Hades 1, she enters Zagreus' story with an air of detachment, her voice colder than her siblings and her blessings as merciless as winter itself. Unlike Zeus or Poseidon, she does not shower Zagreus with cheer or warmth. Instead, she offers ice and decay, powers that slow and weaken all who oppose him. Her motivations carry the weight of her own grief. Demeter is the goddess who lost her daughter Persephone, and that sorrow lingers in every word. Even when aiding Zagreus, her presence feels distant, as though she is not helping out of affection, but out of duty to blood and fate. Her blessings for Zagreus use chill, slowing enemies and making them easier to handle. It's her way of saying patience wins. In Hades 2, Demeter's role expands into something more layered. To Melinoe, she still speaks with authority, but there is a shade of grandmotherly wisdom in her tone. Where before she was simply cold, now she acknowledges cycles, life, death, decay, and renewal as truths that cannot be ignored. Against Kronos, she frames herself as a goddess who understands inevitability but also rebirth. Her boons now use freeze and gust, effects that make enemies slower or completely immobilized, and they can even help restore health from gathering resources.
Hermes. If Demeter is winter's chill, Hermes is pure motion, swift, mercurial, and impossible to pin down. In Hades 1, Hermes is the rare god who doesn't burden Zagreus with heavy mythic baggage or somber authority. Instead, he's breezy, talkative, and always rushing off to the next task. His role in the underworld feels almost playful. While others speak of grand legacies and divine grudges, Hermes just zips in with a grin and a few speed-focused blessings. But beneath that lightness is something telling. He is the messenger of Olympus, the bridge between worlds. His boons are all about speed. Quicker attacks, faster dashes, shorter cast cooldowns. He doesn't bother with philosophy, he just wants you moving faster. By Hades 2, Hermes' characterization sharpens. To Melinoe, he remains cheerful and fast-talking, but there's a subtle undercurrent of responsibility in his tone. Kronos, god of time, represents stagnation and inevitability. Hermes, the god of speed and change, is almost his natural counterweight. His lore across myth has always linked him with guiding souls to the afterlife, and in the sequel, this takes on heavier resonance. He is not just a messenger now. He is a guardian of passage. His boons again enhance speed and agility, but now that means something more. He's helping Melinoe outpace fate, keeping her one step ahead of time's slow choke.
Hephaestus. The smith of Olympus was missing from the first game, but his absence made sense. The weapons Zagreus used were divine relics already perfected. By Hades 2, Hephaestus steps forward as one of Melinoe's most pragmatic allies. Where Zeus cloaks his aid in grandeur and Athena in justice, Hephaestus offers only utility. His boons are exactly what you'd expect from the Forger of Gods: raw, physical upgrades. They reinforce Melinoe's attacks, infuse her weapons with heat and pressure, and often reward endurance over flair. He is not trying to inspire Melinoe so much as equip her. Hephaestus doesn't promise glory, he promises reliability.
Hestia.
Hestia is the goddess of the hearth, quiet, steady, and often overlooked compared to her louder siblings. She is absent from Hades 1, but in the sequel, she appears as a figure of warmth and steadiness amid the chaos. Where Zeus and Poseidon crash in with force, Hestia embodies constancy. Her lore emphasizes the flame not of destruction, but of home and endurance. Her boons revolve around flame, but not like Ares' violence or Hephaestus' forge. Hestia's fire purifies. Her blessings help Melinoe heal, restore, or protect, turning warmth into resilience. She's not about destruction, she's about keeping the flame of life burning. Hera. The Queen of Olympus finally makes her presence felt in Hades 2. Absent in the first game, Hera enters as both matriarch and power broker. In myth, she is the goddess of marriage and family, but also of vengeance, her will shaping dynasties and punishing betrayal. In Hades 2, she takes on the role of a commanding ally to Melinoe. Her lore leans into her place as Zeus's equal, not his shadow. Her boons focus on control, binding, charm, and loyalty-based effects that manipulate the battlefield. Hera represents divine authority. Her blessings make sure nothing acts without your permission. She's less about raw damage and more about dominance and balance. She is less playful than Aphrodite, less strategic than Athena, but every word from her feels like law. Apollo. The god of light and prophecy is one of the major new faces in Hades 2. He's radiant and confident, sometimes to the point of arrogance, but his presence is undeniably powerful. There's no Apollo in the first game, but his addition in the sequel rounds out Olympus's elemental spectrum. His boons focus on brilliance, literally. He uses light as both weapon and truth. Radiance blinds, burns, and exposes weakness, while his blessings encourage precision and timing. Apollo turns Melinoe's attacks into flashes of divine focus, the light that reveals everything, even the lies of gods. Chaos. Chaos is older than the gods themselves, the being that existed before creation. In the first Hades, Chaos appears deep beneath the underworld, offering deals that temporarily weaken Zagreus, but grant major rewards later. Their boons always carry risk, penalties for a few rooms, then lasting power boosts. In Hades 2, Chaos returns, but with a heavier air. They remain neither friend nor foe, observing the war against Kronos like a scientist watching an experiment. Their boons still operate through trade-offs, but the benefits are even greater. Massive boosts to offense or resource gain for those willing to endure their penalties. Chaos remains one of the few entities that even the gods speak of with reverence. Selene. Selene, goddess of the moon, isn't a standard Olympian. She's divine, but not one of the 12. She has no role in the first Hades, but here, she's essential. Her hex boons replace traditional calls from Hades 1. Instead of charging a god gauge, Melinoe channels magic to unleash lunar powers. These hexes offer massive, temporary buffs or devastating burst attacks. Moonlight as weapon and blessing both. Selene feels mysterious and distant. Her magic is beautiful but eerie, her motives unclear. She's a reminder that in Hades' universe, not all power comes from Olympus.